Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, the Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Come on in, feed the ducks, say good morning to us, and let's get this day going. Come on, pimping wearing you, or you wearing the pimping? You were here yesterday, happy wearing you, or you wearing the happy. All right, let's bring Bebop in. You ready, B?
I'm ready. Good morning to you. How are you, sweetie?
Let me see. Uh-oh. I'm going to follow you. You go. Okay. You go first.
Ready?
Okay.
See how it's the opposite when you try to follow?
I'm following, but still leading. All right.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. So, let me get this. Let me tell the ducks to sit down somewhere. Let's see who's in with us. I know Latasha's in. She was in before I was in. That's how she rolls. I looked at her. I was like, Lord, that's Latasha. Show up at work an hour early. All her life.
What's up, cuz?
Yep. And so we got Auntie Richetta. And we got Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda says, great everything, everybody. Auntie Richetta says, good mo, Butterfly and family and nephews. I like that. Brandon, I heard you yesterday. Look, got my new coffee cup.
Look at that.
I heard you talking about, we drink out of the same coffee cup. We go do this the same, get out the same side of the bed. So I said, you know what?
You're going to do it different today.
Right. So I had an experience this morning. So I'm preparing for a yard sale, and I got stuff. I just mostly clothes right now. That's all I've been working on. And so I changed my my drawers around, meaning where I put things, right? So I've been going back to where I had them. So this one was like, oh my gosh, I did it again. So it reminded me of the trash can that I haven't talked about in a very long time. As we talk about, change within us, embracing change. That's one of the things Rodney and I used to promote quite a bit. Move something that you use frequently. And we decided it was a trash can. And monitor how often you go back to the place you moved it from.
Mm-hmm.
Monitor that and use it as an example of knowing or being more intentional about your life and the choices that you make. Is it coming from your subconscious mind? Because these are the things you need to start asking yourself. Right? Your new self, the one that you're becoming. How is this serving my life, what I want to do, how I want to be, how I want to respond to life? Because if you remember, your subconscious mind controls you. It controls you. It tells you what to do, if it needs to do that anymore, right? Because cruise control, we get on, Brandon said we get out, Joe Dispenza, we get up from the same side of the bed. We go the same way to work. We think the same. We do the same. We feel the same. We are the same. And then we want to know, why aren't our lives changing, or we're not feeling better? right? So I just wanted to share that, Brandon. And yesterday, our affirmation was today, I will multiply the emotion of kindness. The emotion. I thought that was interesting when I looked back over it yesterday after the show. The emotion of kindness, the emotion of everything. We can just say the emotion of your feelings, the emotions of your feelings. Where are they coming from? So, y'all make sure that you're contemplating on these readings after the show and in your life. Let's just make sure of that. So, over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Welcome to the In This Season podcast. I appreciate y'all being here, and Mom for those insights and that review of yesterday. If this is your first time, or if you've been here every single time, uh, you know if this is your first time, or if you've been here every single time, you still need to hear this. Please get the book Daily Motivations for African American Success. This is a book that we have picked for this season, and we are what 285 or
We're
more
286, I think.
286 days of reading this book together at 7 a.m. in the morning. So thank y'all for being here. Make sure that you invite someone to the show, to the cookout, as we say, where we have these conversations, these discussions, and then we take home a plate for everyone else. Make sure that you're not just taking home a plate for yourself, and make sure you're not wasting the food, right? Once you get that food and you take it home, don't let it sit in the fridge. Give it to somebody, or you eat it and digest it yourself, as my mom said. Take these things home with you and give further contemplation. So again, get the book. That's how the book kind of looks. Mine's a little bit more tethered. Now, see, Mom, I'm embarrassed about mine. Look, we got Mom a new book, and hers is all special
I
and
can read
shiny.
it now, y'all. I'm not stumbling. I can see the words. So it's awesome. It's awesome.
So it's a good book, guys. Great, great high value, low cost. There's no excuse if you're here every day and you don't have the book and you've spent money on, I don't know, something you might not need. This is something that could actually is an investment to your character, to your well-being, to your mental health, to your personal and financial success. There are principles, there are things in this book that will help you achieve those things. So a little bit more about that. Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, who's the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. So again, y'all get the book, support this Black author, and a special prize to anybody that can contact Mr. Dennis Kimbro and give us his information. We've been looking for him. We reached out, but we have not gotten him. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's in sound health and mind, and we hopefully we can get to talk to him before we finish this book. That would be great. So let's work on that, Mom, if we can. See if we can get him
Look,
in here.
Brandon,
That would be great.
I have. It's gonna come. It's just not time right now. Like I've reached out, sent some things to, I guess, his someone, I guess his admin or someone. So, and I'll do it again, but I guess I will. Right now, I just know that he will come. I really do, y'all. Just know that
Sounds
he will
good.
come. So I'm not praying about it. But look, that's how much we got to go.
Wow.
And that's how much we've done. So y'all ought to be proud, especially those. Um, it sound
A
weird.
lot of people haven't read a book. You know that? A lot of people have not read a book in the last 10 years, cover to
Yeah,
cover. I
yeah,
mean, that's crazy to me.
yeah. I was thinking this morning that I'm gonna just go ahead and whoever can come can will come, but I'm gonna have something here at the house. I'm gonna invite you guys, feed you. You will not have to bring anything but yourself, and maybe the book. Maybe that's what I
Ooh,
should say. Maybe that will be your ticket in.
yeah. Mm.
Because we could just kind of sit around, have good food, good fellowship, good conversation. Everybody comes with their favorite, which will make you have to go back. So thinking about doing that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you guys. I'm not going to get into that's not doesn't work for me. Doesn't. But Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I'll just pick one of those days. Now, if one of those days is better for you, I can make it work either. But I'm just going to invite you guys over, and we're going to have good food, good fellowship, and just connect. So it will be within the next 3 to 4 weeks for
Mm.
sure. You have my word on it, God willing.
My stomach is gonna keep you accountable. Yeah, my mama can cook. I don't know if y'all have ever had my mother's cooking, but I promise you, if you get this kind of cooking anywhere else, it's gonna cost you a whole lot more than a book. So make sure that you guys come and enjoy yourselves and have some good fellowship. And mom, that's exciting to me. That sounds like some good fellowship, some good food,
Yeah,
some good faith, some good family. So
yeah.
let's do it, y'all. Let's jump into the show today. This is November 12th. Let's see what the title is today. Do it now.
Do it, do it now.
Do it now. And our quote comes today from Ethel Waters, the singer, dancer, and actress, who said, "Many people know how to criticize, but few know how to praise." Many people know how to criticize, but few know how to praise. Why do we find it's so much easier to compliment the dead than the living?
Mm,
At funerals, the friends and family members gathered cannot say enough about the deceased. During life, however, all those qualities that now draw praise usually went unnoticed. On her deathbed, after a lifetime of love and devotion to others, Ida B. Wells, a journalist and a social activist of her day, left this inspiring message. Loving praise is the best medicine. Don't wait too late. Be generous with kindness, but cautious with criticism. Life is as sacred as death. It's appropriate to remember a departed one fondly, but it's even better to say what we have to say while the person can still hear it. People don't become better or more deserving in death than they were in life. Living, not dying, is what makes us praiseworthy. It is no small thing to fall in love, to raise a family, to strive to assist others, to live each day with all its mundane routines as well as we can. We need to say all those loving words and express all those loving thoughts on this side of death. The dead are beyond the daily struggle and thus beyond any need of encouragement. It is we, the living, who must depend on each other for mutual comfort and support. If we have a word of appreciation to offer, let us say it now. And our affirmation for today says, "Today
mm.
I will share my thoughts of love and respect before it's too late." I'll say that again. Today I will share my thoughts of love and respect before it's too late. Over to you, Mom. Do it now.
Whew.
Don't get too deep on us now. I guess
Mm.
like you're about to take a
Wow.
dive.
This
I
is
like
a
this time.
yeah. This one because all right. So we often say here, um, and for me outside of here, and this is deep for all of us. Like really, you guys. This is truth be told. This is every one of us, right? As to how we perhaps maybe not now, but I know for me, I've started to look at death differently, and what really kind of maybe the journey started before this time, but we're doing something here. I don't know if Monique is on listening, but her mother, my aunt Phil, I was not able to, who was like another mother for me growing up. And so when she passed, I was not able to go. because Brandon was graduating and it was just, I couldn't go. But later I noticed or started to realize that for me, it didn't appear even to this day that she was gone, like that she was no longer on this side with us. Even to this day, it just kind of it feels like, and it had felt like. So I thought that was interesting. So what I'm saying, I didn't get to see her body in that state, and mentally it did something for me. I didn't go through the phases of I don't know, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But now, since then, let me say this first. We will say here that we will spend hundreds of dollars to go to someone's funeral. And sometimes someone who we hadn't even talked to in months, that we got some beef with, right? Or just hadn't talked to them. Or someone who's asked us, hey, can I borrow $10? Or they've needed $10. But we will get suited and booted and go to the funeral. And like this passage says, we have everything in the world good to say about them. But we wouldn't pick up the phone and just say, hey, how you doing? Right? People have taken their lives because I know a lady who tried to commit suicide, and she said, she said, I just waited it out. And she said, my phone didn't ring. No one called me, tried to reach out to me 2 whole days. And so on that 3rd day, she tried to take her life. Right. And I bet you she probably ran across somebody's mind, but we're too busy doing nothing that we can't even hear the voice. Happened to me with an acquaintance, someone that I was getting to know, and we played phone tag, and then to the point where it was my time again to call her, and so too busy. And then I got a call from a friend and said, I got some bad news. She was gone. So while I'm running around doing a lot of nothing, and she was sick, like she was sick, we thought getting well, but I was too busy, too tired from being too busy to reach out. So I'm going to say this, and not just with y'all, let's love on people. Let's love. Oh, my cup is about love today. That's my love cup. It has love in there. Let's love on people just where they are. Right? You can still have some things to deal with people, and still have, that's being a grown up, and still be able to be in their presence. Right? The way you feel about someone does not have to change your actions of love for them. That's grown up movements, right? Because why? I've needed someone's grace in my life because I'm in my feelings, right? I did I often think about some things here and there that I'm like, Tammy, where were you in that phase when you were acting this way? Because of something else. I wasn't in the emotion of love, of grace. I was not giving and had not forgave, as one of our passages said. So the time to love is now, because who promised you tomorrow? Who promised you? What makes you think that the person that your ride or die person, because sometimes those are the people that get the least of us. Those are the people we kind of put to the side for a minute. Oh, I can get, she or he is there. While we try to get validated through some people who ain't even validated themselves, right? You could give them grace. You could give them space, but do it now is also for the people who are now doing it for you. Because even it's kind of like the death thing. The people who your ride or die are the people you kind of just, scapegoat around, whatever. It's kind of like whatever. And then when the person dies, so think about that. Now we got all these great things to say when a person dies. So I'll say this, y'all, do it now. Fix your relationships now. Right? What does that look like? What does that mean? Because some of y'all got some stuff going on with people that don't matter. They still your people, right? And you still ought to do right by them. Because what you should do, you ought to do. And what you ought to do, you should do. Because it's about you. Nobody else is going to stand before God on your behalf for you. Your actions, you are responsible for you and the way that you do it, if you do it now, and how you do it. All right, over to you, Brandon. You're on mute, baby.
Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. I want to echo your sentiments and start with uh, the quote here today. Many people know how to criticize, but few know how to praise. I think it's not the fact that we don't want to give someone any praise, but that mentally, the way that we have structured our mind, the way that we have made a habit, the habit of being ourselves, right? To go back to that Joe Dispenza book, we are more prone to point out things that we don't like. And the things that we do like, we try to leave them alone and let them be, right? So we're more likely to call someone to tell them something bad about someone else than to tell them something good. Can you imagine the same way that the news reports what happened with Diddy, or the same way the news reports, which politician said something scathing about the other politician, or the same way the news will report who has an allegation about something, right? The same way that they report and with the same ferocity and speed that they report these types of things without doing the due diligence, that's just the same speed that we'll run to listen. And so we kind of self-fulfill this cycle of because they put that out because it gets them ratings. It gets them to be able to see more eyes on their channel, because there's something that seems to be within us that loves the shock value. And I think this was originally made to help us survive, to see things in the wild. That we see a snake, oh, we know to run, tell everybody that there's a poisonous snake over there, right? But not so much of, hey, there's some good soil over there we could grow, especially if you already have a garden. So the way I look at this is that, do we really know, and how soon do we forget once we do know, the power of life and the sacredness of life before death comes to us? And I think we sometimes, you kind of fear what you don't understand. And a lot of people fear death, and they don't like to talk about the things that they're afraid of, right? So when people do pass away, all of a sudden now, you don't know what you had until it's gone. You don't really value things. Like you said, Mom, you have your ride or dies, and you will ride them until they die.
Mm-hmm.
And when they
And
do die,
won't even give them some water while you're
right?
riding.
And
And
when
got some.
when they do die, you realize that your ride is now a little bit more bumpy.
Now that you don't have a ride now.
Maybe, I mean, yeah, for real. Like you might
Yeah.
have, you might say, if you got, like I said, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, right? And maybe what it is that we've become too diluted amongst other people and even amongst ourselves. Diluted by meaning everybody's my friend. Everybody is, in the same category, has done the same for me, and you don't understand the rights that certain people have on you, like your family. Your family has a right for you to check on them. Your elder, and I'm speaking to myself first, your elders have a right for you to check on them. These children in our lives, whether they be nieces and nephews and
Mm-hmm.
siblings, or even our own, they deserve, right, to be checked on, to be, hey, how was your day? How are you doing in school? And that makes more of a difference. God forbid something happened to them and we'd say, man, I wish I would have spent more time with them. I wish I would have told them that I loved them. I wish I had a thought to get them something and I thought it would have made them happy, but I never did it, you know? And what I'm discovering is the people that do that are overburdened because everyone else isn't doing it. And once you become someone that others can lean on, you better believe everybody's going to lean on you. And those people often are unsung heroes. Those are the people that usually do it without looking for praise. They do it without looking for something reciprocated. They do it out of the goodness of their own heart. And it seems as if they are so free with it that, and they don't covet it, that we don't value it. It's almost like we only value things that are hard to possess. But imagine like the girl that runs away from you, right? The girl that you might want, or women, the man that you just had your fancy for, right? If that man just crazily started pursuing you, a lot of us, or if that woman started pursuing you, a lot of us would find that, oh man, it takes a little bit away. They love the thrill of the chase. You see what I'm saying? But it's when someone's there, loving you, doing the things that they need to do, um, being protective and honoring you, respecting you, where it becomes very easy to discount that love, that respect, that honor, that dignity, because it's coming so free, and it's so abundantly, and so we think, oh man, if it's not scarce, it ain't worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's not hard for you to give, then it doesn't mean anything to me. And then once it's gone, you're like, wait a minute, that was everything. Have you ever heard the cry of a son who didn't visit his mother for a year until her funeral? Have you ever heard that cry at a funeral? Have you ever heard the cry of a husband who didn't value his wife and then she passes away, or a wife that didn't respect her husband and how hard he worked until he was gone, and she realized the gap, the hole, not just in her heart but in her life, and what she did on a daily basis, and how this man made her life easier. How his Sundays were like Mondays, and while everybody else was resting and enjoying their day, he's preparing the family for the week. The reason that everyone can relax is because this man or Big Mama or whoever is cooking dinner for everybody. And when she's gone, man, the food don't taste the same. When he's gone, man, that bill don't get paid on time. You know what I'm saying? And we miss out on all these small things. So sometimes you might feel gratitude, but not know why you're grateful, why you feel that way. You just know that this person brings goodness to your life, but you don't know quite what to say to them. But I promise you, if they said something you didn't like, you would know exactly what to say. And I think it's in many cases where if there's something good, it's like, okay, we feel somewhat entitled to it. Oh, my day should be fine. Everything should go just the way that I wanted it. Oh, that person should show up just right there, you know? And it's easy to take that for granted and not be like, thank you. Thank you so much for being there, for thinking enough of me to call me and check on me. Thank you for being this upstanding character. And I like the reference that it made to Ida B. Wells here. And I don't know if you guys, So Ida B. Wells said this on her deathbed: loving praise is the best medicine. Don't wait too late. Be generous with kindness, but cautious with criticism. And this, she said this on her deathbed. And I don't know if you guys know the story of Ida B. Wells. But even though she died in Chicago, she spent a lot of time in Memphis. She lived in Memphis for a great deal of time, or for an impactful time in her life. And what kind of spurred her, if I'm not mistaken, what kind of spurred her writing, right? Her critique of of American consciousness and American life here was what was called the People's Grocery lynching. I grew up in Memphis not knowing this until my wife and I worked in South Memphis, and a block or two away from the urban farm that we were working with. It's a USDA certified organic farm that provides fresh food and produce to the poorest zip code in the city of Memphis. But about 2 blocks away, there's this place. It looks like a corner store. And there's this marker there. And it's like an old marker, historic marker. And if you read the title, it says the People's Grocery. And what happened here was 3 men who were great friends of Ida B. Wells, businessmen, Black businessmen, business owners, made the fatal mistake at that time of opening a grocery store and being successful too close to a white grocery store. And so these men were lynched by a white mob. They were lynched by a white mob. And the last words, if I'm not mistaken, from reading that marker, was of one of the men was to tell my people to go, I think it was to go west or go north or something like that. But because there's no justice here. And so Ida B. Wells, that spurring her kind of revolutionary approach to writing articles and in her critique of America, that's what spurred it. And so to have her listed here, I think is, I don't know if Dennis Kimbro meant to do that, because much of her career started after the lynching of those men, in protest against the extrajudicial lynching of those men, the unlawful and unjust lynching of those men. And so I wonder what she thought about what she said to those men, or what she didn't say, and how that might have impacted her. So don't, value these people, because death is going to change us in some way, especially if people are close to us. But don't allow someone's death to make you, guess how to say it, fearful of loving people. Because I've seen that too. Whereas like people are so afraid to lose people or to make connections and to become in any kind of way attached to people, because they don't want to experience the pain of loss. But I've heard this saying that it's better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. And part of love is longing, is loss. But if we don't love openly and freely, we're not living the full human experience. So tell people that you love them. Find an excuse to give a compliment. We have this culture of checking in Memphis where, we almost give out. It's almost seen as a loving gesture to talk about people. You see your friend, and as they walk up, you're just checking them as they walk up, and then y'all dap up and then say what's up, and then y'all checking each other as you leave. But imagine just flipping that one day, and I don't know where it comes from, and I participate in it too sometimes with my guys. And we're doing it all in jest, but I wonder if one of them passed away, and the last thing I did about them was talk about whatever their nose or something they said, or I don't think it would do them service. I hate the feeling of knowing. I think about my great grandmother and my grandmother on my father's side, Irene and Beatrice. There's so much knowledge that they had. There's so much that they had to pass on. And one of the things that I think about is, did I get everything that I needed from them? Did I ask the right questions? Was there a gem or a treasure box that I didn't open up with them, that they wanted to depart? Was it something that they needed, or a gesture of kindness that they wanted but never said anything because no one ever asked? Was there a conversation that needed to happen that could have blessed both of us that I didn't initiate? And I think a lot of times we evade the responsibility um, of maintaining ties between each other. Specifically, I mean family ties. You know, we have good friends and things like that, but I really, I want to focus on the family because that's foundational, I believe, to our health, our mental, spiritual, emotional health. So your family has a right for you to keep those ties. And many times we give the majority of our time to people outside of our family, not even, I mean, even outside of our friends and acquaintance. We'll sit there and miss the call and be looking at them calling. I'll call them back later. But boy, if the acquaintance that you met calls and you just met them, you'll pick up the phone. Hey man, what's up? How you doing? So we're almost doing it in reverse, where we're giving more discretion, more right, more love, more affection, more tolerance, more patience to the people that we don't know than the people who are our ride or dies. So make sure that the people that you love, give them flowers now. Bringing flowers and putting them on their casket, they can't smell them. They don't need them. But there's somebody like that woman, like you spoke of, Mom, that was waiting to see if anybody would call and check on her. And I don't doubt that, Mom, that someone thought about her and they popped up. I saw someone, I'll tell y'all this. I saw somebody yesterday. I saw two people yesterday. I had a weird experience where I went to the grocery store, Mom, right? Because Stella wasn't feeling that well. I went to the grocery store and I stayed in the truck for a little bit, making calls, doing some business stuff. And I see someone pull up next to me, or two cars down, and then start to get out the car and walk. And I was like, oh man, that's a friend of me and my wife's, Alexis, right? She does like massaging and used to be at the jujitsu gym some years ago that I used to go to. I said, hey Alexis, how you doing? We chopped it up real quick. I sat right back in the car after she left and started finishing out the calls. Well, when I finally got done, I was like, I better go in here and get these groceries. I get out of the car and somebody pulls right up next to me in Alexis. Remember, her name was Alexis, the other woman. So someone pulls up to me in Alexis, and I'm getting out, and I don't find it strange. But then they get out of the car, and I look, and it's somebody from my high school that I also haven't seen in years, and her name is Alexis. Parked right next to the other Alexis. So I was like, what is going on? I'm telling you, I ain't seen her in years. And when I see her, she says, hey, Brandon, me and my husband were just talking about you. I ain't seen these folks in, I'm talking 10 years, y'all, more than 10 years. She said, me and my husband were just talking about you. I mean, just talking about you.
Mm.
And so I was like, and you know what the crazy thing is, I actually didn't figure out that it was two Alexises until I was in the grocery store with the two Alexises. And so I don't know why that happened. It's about as random as can be. I got the first parking spot, by the way, too, Mo. But
Mhm.
I don't, so I was over there. I was like, what are y'all doing? Um, but it just made me think, like, I didn't know where these people were. These people could have been, God forbid, dead and gone, you know? And I just don't know what, and there were years that I spent with, people that I went to high school with and stuff like that are thinking about me. So imagine how many times my mom thinks about me, my grandma thinks about me, my sister thinks about me, my uncle, Mike, God bless you, thinks about me, you know? And how many times I think about them, but we might not call, we might not text, we might not supplicate to God, Lord, I hope, they're okay today. I know they crossed my mind for a reason. Protect them, Lord. Keep them safe.
Mm.
So every now and then, guys, just check in and don't discount your intuition, because we have that for a reason. And you don't want to be in a position where God calls his his creation back home,
Mm.
and you didn't fulfill what you thought they deserved. You didn't honor the rights that they had. And this is, I'll say this, I have a grandmother that lives 2 miles away from me, and another grandmother that lives a mile away from me. Not even that, y'all. And
Brandon,
I'm
Brandon,
just starting to get to the
I
point.
just wrote for me to my reminder. Stop by grandma's house
Mm,
because you made me think about y'all. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but back in the
yeah,
day, there was we've lost the and we've continued to lose.
the home
There was
base.
always right. There was always a magnet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was usually a grandma. Maybe if all the grandmas are gone, it was an aunt that every day when you leave, well, most of the time coming back from work or whatever, you stopped by that house. And I was actually
Right.
thinking about how you have two grandmothers, right there, Mike, right there. Y'all are right there. But oftentimes you will go months without seeing each other. Would not happen back in the day.
Never.
Grandma, like, and it was for me, it was Grandma B's house, in Valdosta, Beatrice. Like, and it felt like it was automatic that you got us, that you didn't even question it. And while you were there, you were going to see aunties and uncles and cousins and
Cousins and
you just, it was a community, and we've lost that. We've lost that. We're so busy chasing this world, where is a verse that says, do not um conform to the patterns of this world, right? We've followed the world. The world is, like I said, pimping wearing you, or you wearing the pimping. The world is wearing you. You're not wearing it. We've lost sight of the people that we love and the life that we need. That we need. Brandon, I let me go back and get this. You were talking about kind of how we treat the new people that, somebody that we just meet. They might call and we're going to answer that phone call, right? Wow, the person that friend died, whatever. And I remember this banner, that this message that we put out on a former show a long time ago. New people in your life don't require you to turn the mirror inward. In this season, we are a member on the opposing team. In this season, we are a member on the opposing team, but we huddle up and play on the other team. Might
mm,
take you a while to get that, you guys. See, because new people don't challenge us, right? Once you get to know someone, once the new person becomes the old person, then they get treated in a new way. But it's just like you treat the former new person that who has become old in your life. Why? Because y'all, we don't want to grow. We are afraid to face ourselves. Why do we criticize more than we praise? Because you don't love you. You've not accepted you. You've not learned how to praise and see your goodness. You don't see that you're valuable. And I've put some things out there as to why it's so easy to criticize people. You guys go back and read some of those. It talks about your ego, right? It talks about how, like what I just said, basically, you don't want to know you. You're afraid. And so you keep yourself tied up into mess. And makes it think you are better than you are, or avoid the fact that you need to grow. You need to plant your seed and grow where you are and become love. Because agape love grows, it multiplies in relationships. So I used to tell Brandon, don't buy that new girl no steak. She gets McDonald's, a picnic with a sandwich in the park. The steaks is for your wife, the wifey material, the one that's going to become your wife. No, you get to know somebody before they get the steak, right? Because otherwise you'll find yourself caught up in this trap of just, there are women who will, I don't like him, but I'm gonna go get this meal. Well, you gonna get hot dogs,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's nothing wrong with hot dogs, but your relationship and your love for people should grow, should get greater later. Because if you took me as your girlfriend to get the steak, right? When we get married, baby, we going to Hawaii. It should get greater later, but we sometimes we flip it. Like Brandon talked about the chase. Oh, you can represent doing the chase, but when you get her or him, right? You don't care about walking out with your rollers, with your head all rolled up in big mama shoes and big mama drawers, right? You don't care what you look like, but you should. Why? Because this is my boo. I
And that's
want
how
him,
a lot of relationships are lost.
right?
You
Because
know what I
we
mean?
stop doing like so. Monitor how you treat the people that have that you've established a foundation with. We start to backtrack. Shiny new object syndrome keeps you keeps the focus off of yourself. New
Mm-hmm.
people, because if you think you're going to keep getting new people and you not have to do some new things consistently or keep doing the things you did to get them, but what do? We stop loving people, right? Because it gets a little, oh no, you're old with the things that you continue to do. You stop loving yourself if you ever loved yourself.
Ooh,
The old
I got
says
some.
she loved him, but he didn't. Or
Mm.
he loved her, but she didn't. So she couldn't receive that love, right? And so you also have to be, if you're going to do it now, make sure you're doing it now with you. And if you ain't, don't try to do love with somebody else until you do it for yourself.
Mm.
Because love grows, y'all. It gets great. It should get greater later. The way you love your boo or your baby girl, it should get greater later.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted her
Mm-hmm.
then, you should want her even more now.
Mm.
She's the mother, perhaps, of your children. That's why some people can't even don't love their children. That's why I'm gonna turn it over to you, Brandon, so we can get out of here. I remember out walking at Shelby Farm one day, and this brother was trying to talk to me, and man, he might would have had a little bit of chance until he told me he had 4 kids that he has not seen, and I wouldn't have been messed up really about the 4 kids, but the fact that got me, you ain't what you mean you ain't seen them? Because
Ain't
if you
nothing in the world that could stop you.
not see your babies, you ain't gonna give a damn about me in this relationship. You just want what you want, and you gonna be gone. And I told him, I said, brother, you ain't got time for no woman. I said, you need to be trying to figure out how to see your children. You ain't got time for no
Mm-hmm.
woman.
You hit him like that, mama.
She won't let me see them, baby. I told him there ain't a person on this world can keep me from seeing my son. And y'all, I said my that time. There ain't a man in the world that could have my child and tell me I can't see him. Why you out here walking? You need to be downtown, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So what was he gonna do for me? If you don't even want a relationship with your children, don't tell me you want one, because love makes you want one, especially for your children. So y'all, at the end of the day, it's about you, and do
It's
it
about
now.
you.
Whatever it is, whatever it is, do it now, because tomorrow is not promised, right? You may want to take a walk today, right? You have your legs. Who's to say you will come back home with them? People leave the house every day. Car accidents, God forbid. But who is to say? There's a song that says, tomorrow, better choose the Lord today, because tomorrow very well may be too late. Choose
Mm-hmm.
life today. Choose the people you love today, because tomorrow very well may be too late. Stop acting like children. Grow up. Wake up.
Mm.
Go
I
ahead.
have something
Go.
there, mom, about the children thing and about the shiny object syndrome. Is that what you called it?
Shiny new object syndrome. It's a
Shiny new
whole thing.
object
It's a whole
right,
thing.
right. I remember
Hmm.
hearing that. But people say that children deal with attention span, right? They have, they call it ADD, right? Attention deficit disorder. But I think as you get older and you become more of the world, you don't have ADD, you have IDD, which is intention deficit disorder.
Mm.
Our intention changes or dissolves or becomes more diluted the more that we know someone. You might have had a certain intention going there, but when you got used to them, that intention faded, right? And where attention goes or intention goes, energy flows.
Yes.
So, you know, you might have had an intention to see grandma, to call her and check on her more often, but that intention gets diluted with the shiny new object syndrome. Oh, well, I'll do it later. I just got to go get this extra dollar real quick. Or I got to go watch this football game. You know what I mean? I got to go do this or do that. Go buy this car. I need to focus on this. When at the end of life, we've spoken about this before in the show, that when people are on their deathbed, boy, do they speak truth. And they say, if they have any regrets, the biggest regret is often that they were too busy to see their loved ones, to spend time and to cultivate and foster and protect and grow the relationships that meant the most to them. What is it to gain the world and lose your soul? What is it to gain all this money and lose your family? Right? What does that mean? All of this money and you can't, you will drive yourself insane, because the shiny new object syndrome, when you're a millionaire, billionaire, it won't satisfy you, because that was never a human need. It was a human want. And when we get our wants confused with our needs, we're in a ceaseless cycle of chasing our desires and our flesh that does not feed our soul, does not feed our heart, does not feed our mind and our mental and social health, does not bear any fruit on the community that we not only came from, but we have a responsibility to re-sow those same seeds or greater seeds so that they can grow for others. A healthy community and a healthy nation is when old men plant trees. Plant trees of love. Plant trees of love, of care, of consistency, of concern and compassion. And if you're a compassionate person and you're not sharing that compassion with the people closest to you, then you might need to look in the mirror and ask what your intention is. Because you might have intention deficit disorder, where you might have started with a good intention, but then it became about you. It was no longer doing the good deed. It was no longer, uh, you know, feeding the poor. What it came about you doing it, you know? And so a lot of times it can be hard for people to give compliments because they feel like they should be the ones getting them and they might not be getting them. You have to be the change that you want to see. If you see everybody checking each other, come in there and give everybody a compliment. Oh yeah, okay, okay. Well, look, boy, you fresh today. Your hair look nice, man. How about that? You know, clean cut, brother. Look at you. Instead of being like
Mm.
ugly fat nose biscuit, you know what I'm saying? You get it's easier to say that, and it even rolls off the tongue faster. But when you start giving compliments, it's like you have to be more intentional. You can't just pull something random out of the sky. You actually got to look that person in the eye and say, "What do I love and like about this person?" And a part of being gracious and being grateful or full of gratitude is finding the good, finding the good to be grateful for. What's your orientation of thought? And that's what it really speaks to. Are you more oriented to insult someone or compliment someone? Try it today. Go and find an excuse to give somebody a compliment. Call somebody up that you know that you may have not spoken to in a long time and say, "Hey, I just called to check on you. I thought about something that you did for me years ago, and it just really impacted me. It's one of the best memories I have for you." Don't say it at their eulogy. You know what I mean? Don't say it at their funeral. They can't hear it. They might not even remember that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it touched you, let them know that you're grateful for it. It serves them no purpose to try to make them smell, to put a flower under their nose as they sit in a casket. You ain't doing nothing but corrupting the dead. You know what I'm saying?
Brandon,
Leave.
personally, I think the flowers that we send, and not no, not talking, not downing death or anything. It does affect us, but it should first help us learn how to love the ones who are here better. We
Mhm.
should always leave a funeral with a new perspective of life for the people, the gift of life, not just for the people, but for your life, right? Love harder, right? Because most times, I would say 99% of the times when we are experiencing death and preparing for funerals, it is more about us than it is the
Mm,
person who's gone.
mm,
You are dealing with your guilt of not doing, not saying, not being, right? And your grandmother, Miss Arlene told me this, I'm going to miss them. I need this. I
mm-hmm.
need this from them. Rather than gracefully, I had a brother tell me, and Brandon, we're going to have to get out of here. And I'm sure he won't mind me using his name, Kevin Douglas. He and his father were so close. And when I heard of the passing of his father, I sent him a message on Facebook just saying, "Hey, my brother," because I just thought he's going to be a mess, right? Because he and his dad just had a beautiful relationship. And he was like, "My sister, I'm fine. I
Mm,
released my dad. He's free, right? To go be free." And that was powerful to me.
yeah.
So when you love people, and another thing that said that brother knew that he and his dad had a dope relationship, and how
Mm.
dare he is to be sad because he had an opportunity to love his father and to be loved by him, right?
Spill my water. I spilled
Well,
my water all over my lap.
well, we're gonna get out of here,
All right,
Brandon.
y'all.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I something you said made me think about the morning that we went to breakfast at the
God.
Breakfast Factory, the
Yep.
the the black husband and wife, y'all Memphis, go visit this restaurant. We walked in, but well, I walked in because I got there and got the table before you guys. But in this restaurant were about 15 black men sitting at a table. I don't know why. Was not concerned. That was one of them. That was a beautiful sight for me, just to
Mm.
walk in and see men sitting having breakfast, fellowshipping. They were there when I got there, they were there when we left. Don't know what they were talking about, but it made me think about Brandon, you look so just whatever. I don't know. Let's give you a minute.
No, I don't spill. I'm telling
Nobody's
you, I
gonna see
spilled
you
water.
doing this. Like, what? It's probably gonna help us get some more people. Though, keep doing it
Man,
because they love to be like, what is he doing?
man,
So
that's it.
keep
It's the
doing
same thing. I ain't worried about y'all. I ain't worried
it.
about
Yeah.
the, I worry about y'all, but I ain't worried about these people.
But y'all, it made me think about this, Brandon. I don't know if you remember this, and we're gonna really get out of here. Henry Garden, I think it is. Brandon, do you remember Henry?
Henry.
Henry
From
Garden, I
where?
think his name is. Henry for years tried to get men to get together and start a rite of passage,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
To
Yeah.
give back to our young, to be examples for young men, to
He
talk
didn't
about
get any
culture.
support for that, did
No, that's my whole point. We too damn busy, right?
he?
I just kept hearing him. I can't get men to even sign up and go. He wanted to go out, go away, quiet their minds, and talk about what's going on. Not in just our young kids' life, in our homes, in our marriages. And he was the guy when I did the show. You guys were on, I think it. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Henry, but I thought it was. Somebody mentioned, yeah, it was Henry. If we would just sit before our companions, in our relationships, and look in each other's eyes, say nothing, look in their soul. He's a deep brother. He's a deep brother, a good brother. Loved his mom who passed away. But get this, and I'm gonna take this around. We're gonna get out of here. But guess what? Can't find a good woman. Why? Like Brandon was saying, y'all don't know what good is. Good makes you fearful. You say you want a good brother, but when you come up against one, well, he ain't got this, he ain't got this, he ain't doing this. No, he ain't too thugged for you, right? And
Because
then
then we
once
won't have any. They won't
you
have an excuse.
right, once you finish getting thug years later, you want the good brother, right? Because you done settled down a bit. Because you ain't connected to your spirit and your soul, so you don't know what good is.
And now you use
The good brother
goods.
is not attracted to you. But in the same sense, that brother could not get a man to say, bro, I'm going to join you in this. Right? So y'all, we got work to do, and you better do it now. I got to get out of here because I got to go do this training now.
Nah.
So,
Go do it now. All right, y'all. Well, we got to get up out of here. I got to clean myself up. I'm soaking wet now from dropping this water in my lap and on my
it wasn't
computer.
coffee.
Huh?
You dropped it on the computer?
A little bit. Yeah, it'll be all right though. It's
Oh,
one of them. It's okay. It ain't one of them new computers. This computer, some years old. Them new computers,
okay.
it'll
It
be
can get
shot.
consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it done had coffee dropped on it before.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
fine.
It's the new ones. Look, y'all, it's the new
Yeah,
ones that ain't
it's
about.
the shiny object syndrome. But look, y'all, we're gonna get up out of here. Thank you for doing this with us right now. And again, the title was "Do It Now," and our quote of the day came from Ethel Waters, who said, "Many people know how to criticize, but few know how to praise. So learn how to praise, how to give somebody a compliment, right? And give people their flowers while they're here. Because after death, what does it do? What does it do?" And our affirmation that we carry with us says that today I will share my thoughts of love and respect before it's too late. Today I will share my thoughts of love and respect before it's too late. Share that with somebody today. Share this show with someone today. Share it on your social media pages. Go to the website, not the website, but go to the YouTube and like and subscribe to our channel so that you get notified every time that we put out a show, which is 7 a.m. every single day until we finish this book. And again, my mother said that she is going to have not an event, but a cookout. We're gonna have
Yeah.
a family dinner in a sense, and your ticket is going to be your book. So get it now because you never know that it might be this weekend, next weekend. If you ain't got that book,
You ain't
your
getting
ticket, you ain't getting in.
in.
And the food good, so I mean, I'm telling y'all, you'll go spend $15 for a plate. It ain't gonna be as good as this. You might as well spend $9-10 on a book. Get some good knowledge, some good wisdom, and some good food and some good conversation. You know, and plus you get to spend a day with us, and I think that's pretty dope. I think we're pretty cool people, Mom, and y'all are too. So we hope to
It's
see
going to be
y'all.
a Saturday. It's going to be a
Okay,
Saturday. I'm just going to put
okay,
that out there. It's going to be a Saturday. That's it. And I'll try to give you the date by Tuesday of next week. Today's Tuesday.
sounds
So give
good.
me a
Y'all,
week
y'all,
just to get
y'all
it all
heard it
together.
here first, y'all. And we'll have to somebody write that down. Miss Brenda, write that
Yeah.
down so you can remind us next Tuesday. We know you'll be here. But all right, y'all. I love y'all very much. We said all we needed to say. It's time to go do it. Do it now. All right. Take care. Feed them
Go
ducks.
feed them
Peace.
ducks. Let's take them out, Brandon.
I got you now. I'm trying to go with you. So why you playing? Why you playing? Why you playing?
Y'all, come on. Feed them ducks, y'all. Go do it now. Go do it now.
All right,
All
y'all. Take
right.
care.
Take care.